gear, one lower piece to be able to wear everything else. Other than that, extremely overgeared. Got all my accomplishments done last night. These are my titles. Alright, let's go. This is a basic Berserker build. Everything is going to be done with the... all damage is going to be coming from the spinning axe, not the thrown axe. So... I don't actually need to do Shark Chaser anymore. I got that achievement. Let me take that off. I don't care about these low level ones. Alright, let's go. Good start, good start. I can make sure I wasn't missing a chest, because normally there's one around there. But I cannot see it on the map. Both these are good, but I really don't need the Warcry healing with my current passive regen. Hades always has some secrets, so finding one off the bat is great. Nothing down here I care about. Oh, there's the second one. Did you spot it too? Yeah, this build only really works at high levels, but Warrior can get into it a lot earlier than a lot of other classes, just because they have so much going for them in the way of weapons. Not quite as much as Marksman does for bows, but it is still a significant chunk of their arsenal is buffing melee weapons, as well as their defense, which is an indirect way of buffing melee weapons. Because melee weapons struggle with defense because they get hit more often. Not by melee, but by ranged. Melee, it's very hard to get hit by melee. If you get hit by melee often, you either outscale and just don't care, or you're being negligent. It is heavily telegraphed. Or range is much less so. Range also does more damage than melee, for some reason. I've yet to figure that out, why they made that design decision, but they did. Coupled together, it makes parry a almost completely worthless stat. Man, did not manage to pick up combo there, that was slow. Yeah, and if anybody ever wants to actually chat, not just use voice chat, or not just use text chat here, I'm going to try to start, when I'm doing these runs, popping in the official Discord to hang out. No pressure. If anybody wants to. That's where I'll be, though. Not all the time, though. If I'm in a crowded location or just doing something quick, I might pop up in a live stream and just not have audio. But for the most part, that's how I'm planning what I'm going to run. Not going to do everything on stream, though. But when I do. Yeah, the greater weakness ability is actually very strong, but the fact that it's tied to only creatures that are near you when you warcry. Creatures do not tend to live very long, so at high levels it's less useful. Low levels it is a lot more potent though. Alright, Book of Enlightenment. That will certainly help get me done quicker. Nothing else here that I want though. So I'll take a ring for more passive life regen. Once I get a few more. The scrolls don't do very much experience-wise, comparatively. Nothing at these early stages do. So if they're not in like my immediate vicinity, or I'm not distracted, I'm not going to go after them. If I'm not really paying attention, I still might just out of force of habit. So. So much smoother running a warrior rather than a rogue. Warrior just has a lot going for it. Critical hit chance becomes one of the biggest things, and they have a very nice passive that gives 20% more. As well as just having all of this toolkit reduce damage and then increase melee weapon damage. It's just a very good weapon toolkit altogether. And the Tyrant is a very good spell kit, which is why I'd argue that Warrior is probably the second best class in the game. There's no comparison to Transmutation Wizard. Like, Transmutation Wizard just blows everything else out of the water. But after that, probably Warrior. Though, I could see somebody arguing Ranger in pure arguments about ranged DPS, which does hold sway over the game for a long period of levels. Melee DPS though, Warrior. All the way. Kills those ults and rogues though. The traps at this level ain't do shit. That one. That one? Alright. I don't need to be thinking that hard. The choices here barely matter. If I get the right combination of things, though, I might get a one-phase avatar. I still have to have a lot of luck in order to do that, but I did it twice yesterday, which was very nice. Of course, as I'm catching up to my item level gear slowly, and it's probably going to get harder and harder to do. Though at a certain point, I can jump up to the next tier. Shouldn't be too far away, because I think I need like 2297, so that's only like 6 new games away. Yeah, I'll try that. Sorry. You be coughing near the mic. Alright, let's start getting some damage buffs in the house. damage buffs, and then I took an undefensive buff. And that crit chance was sitting right there. That's bad on me. But CDR is always so very tempting. I feel like I've already gotten a few dragon pieces. Or at least another one, yep. Getting a fourth one, or all four I should say. Spell power isn't my general mode of damage, but I do enough that that would keep me permanently topped off because the damage in general just goes out of control as you get higher in games. Not that you see my health dipping very much anyway, but on Wisps it could be particularly useful. When I run last night on 85, for finishing up all the maps, I managed to get 5 pieces of the soldier set, and yeah, that is not something that happens very often. And it was very clear how much those passive healing trinkets actually help. If proccing bleed wasn't so unreliable, Thirsty Enchant would almost be that good. I mean, it's still good at levels where you're not one-shotting things, but I one-shot a lot of things. And if you're killing it before it gets an ability to have a stack of a debuff, well, you're not really benefiting from it. I'll pick that one. Now, while the resources from this are completely unnecessary, getting a few elixirs pop as a chance, you know, makes me at least go slightly out of my way for them. The dust crystals I could care less about. Not sure if you saw my in-town values, but I think I am either at or very close to like 700,000 crystals. Because I just gained so many more than I spend enchanting. Having one set of gear and passing it around saves you a ton of resources. It makes it so that those are not really feeling like limited commodities. Would not mind if the chapel had an option eventually for them. But given that they don't scale as well with the shady dealers, I don't think that it is really needed as a scene. You know, would never complain about more stats. Especially with something like additional experience gain. A very frequent complaint you will hear from me is, I don't like the fact that I have to kill quite so many things just to make sure I maintain my level. I wear experience gear on my shoulders, my back. I run the experience chapel bonus. Actively pursue any of the 2 sources of experience from trinkets. Now on my higher level characters, I'm still not guaranteed to get 5 levels. I probably am on Warrior. This Warrior's one of my lower levels. I think 2nd lowest level, with the lowest being Sorcerer, because I have no reason to level Sorcerer. Mana regen lost its relevance when spells kind of went out the window as a viable way to play the game. I say viable. By viable, I mean within like 50% effectiveness of weapons. You can still clear content using spells. they just do a vastly smaller amount of damage. But they crit more, so I mean, that's nice. Because it is very inefficient for most characters to run double-edged. The 25% crit chance on weapon hits, that also, you know, sacrifices 2.5% of your current HP. Whereas the option that is available for other classes that are spell-based is, oh, we'll just increase your spell cost by 20% for that. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is different. The spell cost is negligible for a lot of classes. And it's workable for the ones that it isn't negligible on. Whereas losing 2.5% of your health every time you crit and then bumping the crit chance so it's more often is something that, so far, I've only been able to get to really work on a Warlock. And I'm not sure if it's better, but it's usable. As regen goes up, it'll only get better, though. Sorry, I can hear Discord pinging. I usually mute all my channels, but I just joined a new one, and I have not muted it yet. It's not very active, though it's just for a small D&D game. So, yeah. Hopefully the DM's not going to be in here again 20 times while I'm trying to level, so I might have to just Alt-Tab over and mute it. I think it should be fine. We'll see, though. Oh, did I get Mighty right before I'm about to go to the boss? This boss is already a joke, but with Mighty, well, yeah, it's gonna be quick. Alright, that's 3 pieces of dragon, and I think it's the rare pieces that I have, yeah. I just need an uncommon green one to get the 4th. There we go. Yeah, I'm in there, I didn't bother check experience. Okay. I am very close. Getting 3 levels in. And then I only need 2, so I'm well on track to be able to skip most of the wisps, which is good. Crit? Yes, please. Yeah. Now that I've gotten all the maps, my next goal, I think, is to get all my characters to 500. And after that, I'll probably work on getting my wizard to 1k. 500 isn't that big of a goal right now, because it's like the furthest is going to be 95 levels on my sorcerer, and like 20 levels on my warlock, handful of levels on my paladin. I think my paladin might get 500. Yeah, just 3 or 4 classes, and less than 100 levels on each. So that should only take like 2 weeks if I actually am trying to do that and don't get, you know, just bored of the game. Oh. Berserker archers still hit hard, no matter what. Wasn't really in danger there, but my health did dip lower than I thought it was going to this run. Yeah, and I normally do try to field chat questions during these runs, so hearing the recordings afterwards might not have all the context. Perhaps I should restate the questions if I get any. Today's relatively quiet, so I'm just making up stuff to talk to myself with. But if you want to pop in either the Discord or the YouTube chats while I'm running, anything about the game, anything about my opinions on D&D or current media. I'd rather not talk politics, but if you really want to, I could probably be dragged into it. Yeah, I don't mind talking about anything within the YouTube guidelines. Just want to come and hang out. Hammerwatch is very much just almost a downtime cookie clicker from playing those classes for me. Something you casually do, work towards a goal, and have a little bit of fun. Alright. Everything on this floor. Close to one level, I might be able to skip all the wisps, and that is nice when I'm able to do that. If I could skip all the wisps and then get a one-phase avatar, that would just be chef's kiss. I'll get him on my way back. Alright, going for all the offensive perks now. I definitely don't need anything more defensive. I'm going to be skipping wisps. I'm not going to load up on Shadow first, but... say that as I love there. Maybe I will load up on Shadow Curse. Not on purpose though, just because I'm bad. I'll make things hard for me down the road. That's fine. I'm in no real danger here. Oh, I will have to kill some wisps, because apparently snakes don't give experience. Or at least they did in my run yesterday. Which caught me a bit off guard. Oh, I'm a dumbass. I deserve that. Alright. That's what I get for trying to kill a big pack of wisps like that. Well, you're gonna see how I make up for a dumb mistake like that. Because I want to get this done before lunch is over. Thing is, I was probably at an experience point where I would probably level from Avatar. Well, then, that's fine. Alright. I'm gonna get all the offensive perks for now. Because I ain't dealing with any bullshit. Alright, gonna get them in the cluster so I can get combo. No offensive ones there, so I'll take a defensive one. No offensive ones there, so I'll take a defensive one. Killing spree might have been technically offensive. Alright, there we go. Alright, where is... Okay, orbs over here. I'm just basically going to be getting any buffs I can find on my way to orb, and on my way to exit. Not sidetrack myself with anything else. You see one buff here. I can go ahead and grab. Traps do almost no damage, so I can pretty much ignore them. Let's see, there's orb. Bottom? Bottom. Okay. Combo. There we go. I might go on my way to that monument a little bit to the north. If that's a defensive one, that will be very useful on quartz. 50%, 50%. Nope. Okay. Well, call me a liar. I went out of my way. For 10% more damage, though, so... all right next to each other. How can you not? %10 more health is always useful. Alright, it's going to be a little bit slower because I don't have all the goodies, but it's still going to be very cool. Lots of goodies all right next to each other. Having some healing on that battle cry is very nice. So I'll get that instead of an offensive one. Two of those. And now to the exit. Alright, got combo. We'll make right out of here easier. I'll grab this monument real quick. Perhaps you know more damage. And probably get this to snakes. Probably can't get this to Avatar. More healing never hurts. Gotta be finger on the potions here when we're going to run back like this. Avatar fight is trivial, so I won't need it there. But wisps can turn out serious damage very easily. Eyeballs, on the other hand, are just a waste of space. But well, and that's how you make up for a dumb mistake. Let's make sure I don't make another one. Alright, combo. Up here. Combo is mainly useful for the movement speed, but the bolts here do a surprisingly decent job of making sure I finish off these ghosts. Three, two, one, go. All right. Not a bad run, despite the mess up. But a 7-minute recovery, so I'll take it. That's it for lunch for me. I'll catch people around next time. Have a good one.